Hey, what's going on? I'm Peter Motto from Eagles.com, IGGLES.com, and today we're going to talk about what's on everybody's mind, the NFL MVP race. And all anyone is talking about is who deserves to win the NFL MVP League trophy. Right now, Twitter is like a jumbled mess of posts from people of all ages, races, sexes, and backgrounds, not so politely debating their claim for who should receive the majority of the MVP votes in the NFL. Whatever it may be, everyone has a reason their guy is the 2022 most valuable player of the NFL. I'm going to try to sift through all the insignificant logic and overly biased judgments and give my unbiased opinion of who I think currently deserves to win the NFL MVP, as well as who still has a chance to prove their claim to the award. As an Eagles fan myself, I pledge to take all emotion out of the equation and remain completely unbiased. So I think we all can agree it's about a 3 or 4 man race right now. You have Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. They've all had pretty impressive seasons so far, but there only can be one MVP. The two frontrunners are currently Mahomes and Hurts, so much of this video will be covering the battle between them two. Let's kick this straight off by looking at the numbers. We'll begin with Josh Allen, who has battled through an elbow injury to lead the Bills back to the top of the AFC standings. Allen is probably the second most talented quarterback in the NFL who can single-handedly dominate a game if he has to. But right now, I do not consider him the actual MVP of the league. He would get my 4th place vote, and here's why. Yes, he's an exciting and dangerous quarterback to watch with big playability, but I look at his season sort of as Jekyll and Hyde. When he's on, he's the guy defensive coordinators fear the most. But when he's off, he makes awful decisions that really hurt his team. Yes, Allen has had to deal with a pretty crappy offensive environment this season, but so has Mahomes. He's not leading in any major categories, and he's just being plain outshined by the other 3 guys right now. Josh Allen has been a great quarterback this season, but too inconsistent to take home the MVP trophy. Now Joe Burrow, the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, is quite the opposite. He has thrived under pressure, remaining the most efficient quarterback of the season. Even when he's been without Jamar Chase or Joe Mixon, Burrow has still been able to consistently produce big numbers. He's the same Joe Cool who we came to know last year, if not better. Although Burrow is playing his best football in the most meaningful games of the season, he's going up against 2 monsters, Hurts and Mahomes, who are both having career seasons. 9 out of 10 seasons Burrow could win MVP with his numbers currently. But this season, 2 guys are just doing it better. I don't think Burrow gets the amount of first place votes that Hurts and Mahomes will, but I wouldn't count him out completely because he looks better and better each week. Now, if Burrow continues to throw up numbers you would only see in Madden games throughout these next few weeks, he could very well make his way back into the top of the MVP race. Now let's look at the 2 front runners, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. At first glance, it may look like Mahomes is dominating on the stat sheet, but not so fast. Hurts doesn't have the gross passing numbers of a typical MVP, but he has still been highly efficient through the air while also being one of the best rushers in the league, regardless of his position. Listen, a touchdown is a touchdown is a touchdown, whether you throw it or whether you run it, and Hurts has only 2 less overall touchdowns than Mahomes. Jalen Hurts has consistently thrived while being the most important piece on the best team in the NFL. That is the definition of what an MVP should be. The only way anyone's been able to beat him, Washington, was by playing keep away. You also have to look at interceptions. You may say interceptions aren't a big deal when you're throwing as many touchdowns as Mahomes, but 11 interceptions to 3 is a huge deal. Turnovers, no matter how they come about, put the rest of your team in a very bad position, and Mahomes has thrown a pick in almost every game this season. That's a big hit to his MVP claims. Teams who win the turnover battle usually win the game, and Mahomes hasn't done his team any favors on that aspect, and that's something you need to look at when crowning the most valuable player. There's nothing valuable about making the game harder for the rest of your team, and that's exactly what turnovers do. Now, on the other side, you have Jalen Hurts, who almost never puts his team in a bad position. Quite the opposite. Hurts has thrown just 3 interceptions and lost only 2 fumbles. He's a big reason why Philly leads the league in turnover differential, and the biggest reason they are 12-1. Now, let's show the Chiefs quarterback a little love. Mahomes is still probably the most feared quarterback in the league because of what he can do and what he has done in the past. He has the most passing yards, has the most passing touchdowns, while also having one of the NFL's best passer ratings. He's the biggest reason why the Chiefs are among Super Bowl favorites for the 5th consecutive season. On paper, Mahomes is the prototypical NFL MVP. The yards, the touchdowns, the throws over 20 yards, and most importantly, the consistent winning without the likes of a number one receiver or running back. And in my opinion, that's what could give him the edge in this MVP race. Like it or not, Jalen Hurts has more talent around him. But Mahomes continues to prove he's dangerous no matter who he's throwing it to or who's blocking for him. Let me ask you this. You take either guy, Mahomes or Hurts, off their teams and replace them with another quarterback. Both teams would suffer greatly, but which team would suffer more? Which team would go from a great team to just a good team? Just a little something to think about. Now it's time to tell you who gets my vote. So who do I think is currently the front runner of the NFL MVP race? Well, if I had to pick an NFL MVP after 14 weeks of the season, believe it or not, Mahomes would probably get my vote. Mahomes has the numbers with less talent around him, so he has the edge right now. Fortunately for Hurts, there's no Week 14 MVP NFL trophy. Although Mahomes may have the edge currently, that means nothing when it comes to who I think will deserve it in the end because there's still 4 regular season games left. Because of what Hurts is currently doing, how he's doing it, and the expectations that are being exceeded, we need to see how he finishes this thing. Because he seems to be getting better and better each week. Okay, since I'm a big boxing MMA fan, let's do a little boxing analogy. Think of it as an 18-round fight. Mahomes is currently the slight favorite on the scorecard, but there's still 4 rounds to go, and Jalen Hurts has knockout power to end it at any time, or to win a few 10-8 rounds and win that unanimous decision. For me, it comes down to how he finishes this season, and I believe securing the number 1 seed and home field throughout the playoffs is the knockout punch Jalen Hurts needs to win the MVP. Let's hope that makes sense to our non-combat sports fans. So barring a massive collapse at the quarterback position that results in the Eagles losing out on the number 1 seed, Jalen Hurts will probably ultimately be my choice to win MVP. Believe it or not, that's my unbiased opinion. If you watched any of the Why Eagles Why episodes or my film breakdowns, I've been probably the most critical host on the show of Jalen Hurts. I've always rooted for him. I've always liked him. I just always kind of doubted his ability to see downfield, see the downfield receiver, read the defenses, go through his progressions. But he has done a complete 180 this season. You can tell he worked on his game. He has become a different quarterback. He's always been a great leader. And if he keeps doing what he's doing, he deserves to win the MVP. And I'm happy to eat my words because I like I said, I'm an Eagles fan. And I've always rooted for him, and I've always said I hope I'm wrong. And it looks like I was wrong. So there you have it. There's my NFL MVP breakdown. Currently in Week 14. You saw the stats. You heard what I had to say. Let me know if you agree, you disagree, you think I'm crazy, you think I'm right, which I usually am. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. It's a huge help to the channel. And don't forget to check out Eagles.com, IGGLES.com. We have a ton of new stuff there. Breaking news, updates, roster changes, Super Bowl odds, player features, stat breakdowns, everything. We have some great writers. Eagles.com. Check it out, and I'll see you next time.